Yeah, I got it. He has just attached it. I'll just talk to him. Just give me some time because I am live right now on the TV. Just give me 10 minutes. I'll just give it to. I'm instruct him. I'll just instruct him. Just instruct him. Yeah, includes all the following locations. Yeah. I'll just work out. Yeah. नहीं I'll just work out. Yeah. अरे ते हे कुठे आहे सुश्रुतला बोलू I'm just fed up of him. He's not understanding. He's trying to talk himself to be intelligent.
आपल्याला लेट झालं सर.
चालू करा मग कसं थांबलं मी
चालू
थांबा
करू?
मग मनीला विचार कसं थांबवलं तर
हां.
Are we live now? No, here it is showing some mark. No, it's okay. Dear friends, let me first apologize for you for being late by 10 minutes. It was little difficult time because of the lack of staff, and some of my staff was little busy to accommodate me at this right time. So all my friends on my Facebook and Nesians, like every 15 days or half a month, we are now regularly meeting, as I told you last my presentation, that every 15 days we'll be meeting and covering up various topics on ovarian rejuvenation into 6 different series. Every time I'll be introducing myself because there will be new participants, new visitors, new coming to my Facebook page faces, whom I should introduce them, who am I and what I'm doing it. I'm Dr. Pradeep Mahajan. By training, I'm a neurosurgeon. But last 10 years, I have completely dedicated my work on research in regenerative medicine, cell-based technologies. Many of them may consider stem cells as one of the subject, but stem cell is very small subject of all the matter which I'm going to talk to you always. And since I'm not an infertility expert nor a cancer expert today, but my role will be mostly concerned to take around application of regenerative medicine in today's topic of ovarian rejuvenation after chemo and radiation therapy in cancer patients. Now usually just change the screen like this. This should be. Take complete. Don't move complete side. Complete. That's fine. Now, usually, when we talk of this age group of cancer patients, infertility area, usually that is a group I usually refer them by name called as AYAs. What is AYAs? Adolescent young adults. Means I'm taking adolescents and young adults. The age ranging between adolescents is 15 to 20, 21, and thereafter age goes to around 39, 40, 41, which is an adult woman. So it's a big age group which is usually exposed to various kind of lifestyles, and these lifestyles lead to a kind of disease which we call a cancer. the concepts of cancers are changed completely. So today, like other indications where ovarian rejuvenation is considered as a part of during treatments where the young infertility women and late women who are around 40s or 41, 45, 50s, who are late marriages because of the lifestyle problems as well as the job or career orientation, and then they delay their marriages, and then the choice of having a life to every woman is a privileged birth for them to have a baby.
Change the slides. Change.
This is very important, and then the choice will come for every woman, this fertility choice. This fertility choice will speak to them about having the pregnancy as a late gestation or those earlies during PCODs or PCOCs. But today's topic exclusively I am going to keep with chemo and radiation, which is leading to infertility, because there are a big young population of women which has got still the right to work up on having pregnancies. About StemRx, this is basically a company which works on translational science from labs to the beds. In fact, recently for StemRx, we have received a very innovative recognition by getting a name recognized in India Book of Records for the treatment of a youngest girl in the world for cerebral palsy. So my subjects being an regenerative medicine is expertise in all the specialties. You take a specialty of orthopedic, I have a patent and I have publications. You take an autoimmune disease, you take on metabolic disorders like diabetes, hypothyroidism. There also I have got presentations. So regenerative scope is in all the subjects like even obstetrics, ENT, ortho, autoimmune diseases, rheumatic diseases, surgical, all the faculties. So I have got extended lineages in all these subjects through StemRx, where I will be conducting this kind of CMEs, which will definitely work up on a policy of getting to understand application of regenerative medicine in various subjects. In infertility, today's topic we are reserving to cancer patients. How do we preserve the fertility? This is a big subject, but I have tried to put into a very concise role how to have successful survivorship for this group of patients which I explained you, AYA group, and how it affects the lifestyle of these people, of these women, because of endocrine decrease, reproducibility decrease, all this considering the fact, without affecting the aging process or cancer effects. Now, most of the currently, if you see 70% of the patients under the age of 45 which are having 5-year survival, but I would say not 5 years because the technology is so much improved on oncotherapies or oncosurgeries that these 5-year survival I would extend to 10-year survival post-cancer, post-diagnostic, post-therapeutics result, post is in like a curative treatment. And then which are the type of treatments in the conventional line of treatments like chemo, radio, in combination of both of them, which can lead to a kind of infertility which could be temporary or could be permanent. Now this is a graph where I have shown you the fertile age of AYA patients from say 15-18 to 41, where optimal fertility and decreased fertility. And when we are exposed to gonadotoxic exposure to these patients, the fertility suddenly falls down, and towards the 41 this fertility will be absolutely like they will not be conceiving because of the gonadotoxicity damaging the ovaries, follicles of the ovary and the microenvironment of the ovary, which is very important. Now not only the microenvironment, the quality of life because the hormones is affected. But these women can have an opportunity to have a future achieving pregnancies by standard medical cares which 100 years, 50 years we have been following by cryopreserving eggs, sperms or embryos, or even nowadays there is a lot of research paper published which can show ovary in toto putting into cryopreservation, or chopped ovary pieces of what you can say cortical pieces of ovary into preservation of cryopreservation in the liquid nitrogen. We'll see what are those modalities, and having that survival rate for the cancer patients 5 to 10 years, definitely it is a good opportunity for these women to have a pregnancy. This is a very, but at the time their previous scientific knowledge which was positive for having spermatogonial stem cells in the male. Similarly, there was a thought process that young girls stop the what is stem cells of the ovary or primordial germ cells, and they have a fixed number of ovulation, which I'll show in subsequent slides. In future, because of these new technologies, we can have definitely restoration of fertility for these women, and their dream of having a baby can be completed. To understand the statistic, these adolescent young adults, this is a recent slide which I am showing of 2020, showing at least globally this population is 2 lakh plus, which is having opportunity to go into achieving a pregnancy, and we have to see how we can achieve that, because making a decision for these women to adopt the therapy for cancers in the chemo, radiation or optional immunotherapies which can come into application to reserve the fertility after the cancer treatment, where we are having an cure rate of around 10 years we consider here. That is very important. So let us talk of this possibility. What happens usually? The damage is ovarian function because of the microenvironment and damage to the follicles. These are the two things which take place because of the DNA damage and the microenvironment, where the hormones play a major role. Now, with this having, we have to have some parameters to understand. What are those parameters we'll consider? Parameters of post-surgical, post-radio chemo damage, combination of all these in cancers. What are those parameters we should consider for re-establishing the fertility? Like FSH levels on second or third days, inhibin levels which are generally lower with diminished ovarian reserve, which is very important. These are the parameters we can consider. Then low MH levels, threshold, which are very important. Then on sonography, ovarian volume, which also plays a kind of atropic changes, and AFCs, which are very poor. These are the parameters we should consider in post chemo or radiation fertility to establish again, with considering various therapies of standard medical care. This wish of having a childbearing post chemo radiation to improve the quality of life for young and adolescent women is a right for them, and we will see how this we can do it. This also affect this effect of chemo and radiation could be established also if we have a pre-workup on the granulosa cell population during the menstrual cycle, and the relationship on the onset of estrogen production endogenous. This will have the understanding what kind of chemo or radiation can cause a damage for infertility to these patients. Counseling for this young patient is very important for the reason they have to make a well-informed decision before starting oncological treatment. This is very important because the effect of the oncological treatment, a patient is supposed to know what kind of effect is going to take place on the fertility preservation. And various procedures of adaptation for the preservation of fertility can be adopted then. Now, earlier concept of toxicity of gonatoxin, because the ovaries were supposed to have no reserves of eggs. This is the old concept. And the new theory which I am going to talk to you today shows that how we can preserve in vivo. In vivo means within the body, when we consider body as a bioreactor, where we will not talk of going for cryopreservations of oocytes or eggs or even cortical ovarian tissue or even ovarian transplants, which has come into a big challenges, because the outcomes with these kind of technologies, where we took the fertility preservation techniques, where you can take the ovarian cortical tissue and preserve in the heterotrophic tissue transplanted at different levels, which has got a life expectancy for the tissues to live in this around 5 years, and then again go for assisted reproduction technologies. There are some challenges in this kind of cryopreservation of the tissue and oocytes. Now, ovarian tissue cryopreservation, transplant after the chemo, 5 years we can preserve, as I told you. Life is expected to this kind of transplantation, and then again ovarian transplant. They have some limitations in the form of cost involved, as well the procedures long standing, as well there's a possibility of having risking of reintroducing cancer from the ovarian tissue, because it is a cryo tissue of the same patient who has suffered from a malignancy. There's a remote chances, but there is a chance. There is one article recently published on human reproduction in 2010, where the ovarian transplant, tissue transplant was done in Israel, which shows this lady having 2 issues after the Ewing sarcoma successful treatment at the young age, and then 5 years was a waiting period in this lady to pursue the fertility back again. This is an example which I am showing you. Likewise, we will have various kind of stories to listen and hear from how do we get pregnancy from a fertility reservation after the chemo or radio. The technologies what have been adapted for cryopreservation is a slow freezing liquid nitrogen, DMSO, or egg cells can be preserved. Or this is one technology where other substances like human serum albumin, serous are used. But these technology about vitrification is a second technology which is used in a high speed, high concentration cryopreservation for short time. But out of both the technologies, which clinically has shown the favorable results of vitrification. But even this vitrification, the chances of recovering fertility are quite limited. They are not completely like 100% or 80% or 90%. So we have to decide, either we go for cell-like oocytes or ovarian cortex, either of them going into cryopreservation, and ultimately ending those into a art like artificial reproduction technologies to going into offspring, healthy offspring. But there are chances of in these failure rates are very high. Then about from failure rates, the rates of cost involved into both the procedures in the treatment of cancer as well as these procedures are very expensive, whereas the outcomes are having challenges to these kind of patients. This I am explaining for the reason, ultimately as a region to expert, I am going to use very small, very powerful technologies. How do we use our bodies as in bioreactors and convert the endogenous self, which I will tell you subsequently, to use them to effectively increase the fertility in post-chemo and radiation patients. In addition to what I have shown just now or explained you of cryopreservation technologies, there are alternative ovary tissue transplantations like less gonadotoxic treatment regimes or ovarian protection by using various kind of targeted monoclonal antibodies, and also in vitro maturation step 1 and step 2 for secondary follicles or primordial follicles. There are these kind of changes, these kind of alternative options we can use. Again, the rates of success are not very encouraging. So ultimately, what I want to tell you, these alternative technologies, I spoke you just now before, the restoration of non-functional gonads in cancer survivors by targeting endogenous cells within the body, using the body as a bioreactor, like using mesenchymal cells, VACL cells. These are the potential cells which have been recently detected during 2010 and 2020. Some of the research papers I am going to show you were very small embryonic like stem cells which have been detected in the bone marrow, irrespective of the chemo or radio. Why these cells don't get into damage of their DNA structures and also their microenvironment, I'll subsequently explain you in next slides. Then ovarian surface epithelial cells which survive chemo and radio because of their quiescent nature. Quiescent nature means they are very silent, they are not multiplying, they remain in hypoxic stage where they don't show any metabolic activity till they get a relative environment where they can go into multiplication. Hence, the currently followed methods of cryopreservation, which I have explained you, are very invasive, very expensive, technically challenging, and all of them depend on ultimately assisted reproductive technologies which are very costly for the patients who are undergoing reproduction, thinking of maintaining the fertility post chemo. Reason being the cancer one, second the cost involved in the cancer, cost involved in the cryopreservation technologies, as well most important the involvement of the surgical invasive procedures and outcomes. The banking transplants also are expensive. The other options which I explained you is very important of using body as a is a bioreactor to use the regenerative technologies. These technologies which I explained you could be a breakthrough healing force, where we can use regenerative medicine, stem cell technology or cell-based technologies or growth factors from the platelets or even exosomes could be an options to reinstate the fertility into a damaged ovary which shows loss of fertility. Now the classical dogma which I have explained in the last time of my talk also, which mentions that the number of eggs are depleted over a period of time in a woman because there are fixed number of ovulations. Now this is already a challenge. This is very important for you to tell me today again once more, because this is on this theory, on this challenge, only the in vivo science can work, where the fertility of the woman who has undergone the chemo and radiation damage the ovaries, having reserved stem cells with in an environment which we'll call an ovarian stem cells, epithelial stem cells or VACL cells, which are present in the bone marrow, in the ovary, and they give an opportunity for how do we regenerate using these ovary back to normal functional. This dogma is a big challenge and which is already come up with the science of stem cell model, presence of OSC in ovarian surface epithelial cells or the VACL cells. This was one theory which was Zuckerman in 1951, where the fixed ovulation and there was no extended ovulation after the birth. But Johnson 2004 has shown surface epithelium granulosa cells going into coming from the surface epithelial cells again, and thecal cells, which play a major role in maintaining the environment. Why I am showing is that environment of the ovary is achieved by granules and theca cells, whereas surface epithelial cells play a major role as a stem cell, and these all cells can come from again surface epithelial stem cells or germline stem cells, which are present in the ovary in a quiescent stage post chemotherapy also. Zuckerman in 2005, again a published data showed in addition to GSC or PGSC cells found in the bone marrow, they found in the circulation of the blood also after the chemotherapy. Presence of these cells and VACL cells in the circulation shows that the signals from the ovary are recruiting these cells from the bone marrow ovarian to restock the egg supply again. This is proved in 2005 in certain research papers. Post chemoablation in the circulation, presence of VACL cells, GACL cells, PGACL cells coming from the bone marrow to restock the egg supply in the bone marrow, in the ovaries. Now similarly, Tilly group has also proved this. Tilly's group has proved this again existence of these cells in the peripheral circulation and sending signals to the ovaries to replenish the damaged germ cells. Recently in 2010 and 2012 against, this is Deepa Bhartiya is an Indian scientist, basic research with the ICMR. She has shown the existence of iPSC-like cells or pluripotent-like stem cells within the embryo, having an embryonic-like character in the ovary as well. This is a special cells which are present in the adults, in the ovary, in the testes, in the bone marrow, and other tissues also. If you see the size of the cell, which is around 4 microns and having a maximum chromatin tissue and a less cytoplasmic cell. So these cells are the before primordial cells or stem cells which are present, which differentiate into the stem cells. Like here you can see ovarian VCL cell, OACL cells, showing the surface marker presentant of embryonic character as 4 microns, I said you, and character present by OCT4 marker on their surface. And then again when they differentiate this OCT4 marker from the surface, goes to the cytoplasm, where ovarian stem cells again represent size again same OCT4 in cytoplasm, showing that the origin of this cell is coming from VACL cells. This is a documented proof, and this has been proved in the research papers, which I'll show some of the research papers, existence of these kind of cells in the ovarian epithelial and ovarian environment as well as the bone marrow, which differentiates into the gametes subsequently by surface marker and cytoplasmic markers. That's OCT4, which is from the surface, which goes to cytoplasm. OCT4 presence shows that these cells, they come from VACL cells. And then the ovary gets into rejuvenation cycle completely. Some of the research papers which I want to show you is that fertility preserves for female cancer patients by manipulating ovarian stem cells that survive oncotherapy. This is one of the paper published in 2020. This paper is published in 2020 by Deepa Bharti and her group in ICMR group, which is also indicating you that existence of fertility is possible in the post-survival oncotherapy patients who have, with the recent oncotherapies technologies, cancer therapy technologies, the post-chemo lives are 5 to 10 years, and they will have a desire and their willingness to get conceptions with fertility. So there is few more papers which are going to show. This is again one more paper which can show VACL cells may obviate cryobanking, which is initially I showed a standard which is being practiced globally, cryobanking of gonadal tissues or gonadal cells to preserve the fertility in cancer patients. This is again one of the good research papers, again by Deepa Bharti, showing that existence of stem cells and VCL cells in the ovaries. So banking of gonadal tissue has been a challenging job because the cost involvement, then the failure rates, as well as sometimes you cannot wait for these cryopreservation technologies because the aggressive nature of malignancies or hormone receptor positive patients. We cannot wait and we cannot go for cryopreservation because then again a challenge of recurrence will be there in these patients. So we, without waiting, we can go for your therapies which are the best one with the existing current oncotherapy molecules, maybe recent one which are coming with apart from cyclophosphomides or methotrexates or mesalfons or the new molecules which will be giving less of the toxicity and preserving the fertility tissue to some extent, and then survival of the VACL cells or the ovarian cells in such patient is because these are quiescent cells. They are not multiplying cells. So they bypass these things and remain functional to get the microenvironment which we can bring back by using various endogenic various technologies in such patients to put this system functional again to retain the fertility. This is, I don't want this to talk on slide. This is again one more research papers, recent one 2019, shifting paradigm for oncofertility for non-functional gonad after post-chemo. There are many research papers from ICMR, National Institute of Research and Reproductive Science or Health, which have proved that we can use these technologies to preserve the regenerative science, using the regenerative science to potentially reserve the adult organs, again functional. This again one more pluripotent cell in the bone marrow which has shown, showing presence of stem cells in the bone marrow which are VACL cells and the progenitor cells of the ovary which are present. Whereas many a time there is one article by Dane group which is showing that the mononuclear cells, they are not having ability to regenerate, but they can change the environment by their secretome, but they cannot regenerate. They are adult stem cells. This has been shown by this group, but whatever the regenerative potential which you see in this patient is not by hematopoietic stem cells from the bone marrow, but again having a pluripotent stem cells which I showed you, presence of VACL cells which are very important, having CD45 character presentation with having embryonic character. This one I showed you the this one OCT4, presence of OCT4 in these cells. Stem cells interaction with the somatic niche may hold the key for fertility restoration again in patient. Again this pressure paper of 2012 where this Dr. Deepa Bharti has presented the bone marrow transplant patient showing spontaneous return of fertility in some of the cases, showing that the presence of VACL cells in the bone marrow, in the blood circulation, passing on signals to the compromised ovaries persistent to regenerate the ovarian fertility, restoring in cancer surviving patients. So overall, restoration of OSC niche after chemotherapy is very important because of alteration of niche which we want to improve. The pericyte cells, ovarian memory cells, autonomic innervations which are playing niche like of the ovary which is to be restored back prior of the ovary after the chemotherapy which we can come back. So this niche and presence of ovarian stem cells or very small immunonuclear stem cells play a role to concept the transplant. The concept is to transplant the niche. So this is a total over scenario which I want to talk today with you. Compromised niche of the ovary because of chemo and radiation therapy can be achieved in vivo by the body itself by changing the niche of the body of the ovary by using cell components and growth factors from the platelets or the exosomes, which can be playing a change, completely game changer for the therapy for restoration of the fertility in these patients. In addition to this, in the recent science, if you see this paper which I am showing you, is apart from the stem cells, VACL cells, or MSCs, or growth factors, or cytokines, or exosomes. Now the new science which is coming is a peptide science, which is again very important for us to bring to. These are in clinical trial. I am very confident at STEMRx this science will come in 2 years, where I can give this kind of fertilization promoting peptides in the male fertility. They can again induce, they are specially having a same amino acid sequence which are present in the prostate and semen, like this in thyrotrophin releasing hormone having the same sequence. So these are also going to play in future a significant role in restoring the fertility, but not in female but male. Then again protein and peptides for maturing ovarian follicles. C-peptide nucleic peptide, CNP it is called as C type of nucleic peptide, CNP protein, again playing a major role for the patients which are not responding to FSH stimulation, where the ovaries, these peptides can pre-antral or antral phase of the ovary can put into ovulation. These are also in a clinical trial in phase 3 applications which I have mentioned here, if you can see, which I have marked it here, you can see, and CNP I have shown you how the follicles which can induce into ovulation using proteins and peptides. These are in the pipeline currently in a clinical trial phase 3, but definitely down the line 2 years. In vivo, I am not talking of cryopreservation here. I would like to introduce in vivo technology where body acts as a bioreactor. Now here, home tech message having to understand this kind of peptides is overcoming the in vitro technologies or ARTs which are being like IUI, IVF or ICSI. The Mars and Venus could be technologies put their bodies into focus as a fertility organs and bring them into standard medical care using the stem cell therapies to restore the fertility women, men, male, girls, and boys. Available today are the optional treatments as in investigational procedures. These are investigational procedures. After having to understand in vivo technologies within the body, having presence of various existence of cells of VACL, OSCE cells, and also infertility, whether we are coming towards the end of infertility in the patients where the fertility is lost because of the chemo and radiotherapy, where we expect the environment micro to change and existence of VACL cells. These two things we can reintroduce the environment as well as existence of stem cells which are present. Now offering them these kind of technologies at STEMRx can definitely bring in vivo to understand how we can use these bodies repairing kits back to put into give a hope for infertile couples to come into fertility without going into a invasive procedures of cryopreservation. I am not saying cryopreservation technologies are not very much challenge, are not very much what you can say be successful, but there are cost involved, invasive procedures, whereas we can overcome because the cancer patient is already an emotionally damaged patient where they have lost the hope, cost is involved. If you convert them, their bodies, their ovaries, their uterine structures, that soil and seed structures of the female ovary after the post chemo of the breast cancers or any other cancers you can take, even brain cancers where the hypothalamo-pituitary functions have gone, where there also I shown you some kind of compromise of some kind of protein peptides which could be used to put that function FSH also to functional again. So my dear friends, this was something which presentation I wanted to talk to you today, to bring to you technologies where in vivo body can be brought into fertile state for the ovaries which have compromised niche in the ovary. And when we speak, there were in earlier theories thought process there are no stem cells in the ovarian stem cells, but now since various groups from the Johnsons to Tilly has proved us existence of ovarian epithelial stem cells, VCL cells, can we use these kind of technologies to make these damaged, emotionally hurt, having a right to conceive AYA population, that is adolescent, adult, young women, to preserve their fertility? This is one concept which I wanted to bring you, and I believe I could explain you totally in today's presentation. I would invite some questions today from the my live